Yo, what's going on, Kicks Army? Today I'm going to be drawing the Air Jordan 4, as well as giving you guys some art tips, some blending tips, and all around tips. Let's get it! As usual, we need to go ahead and get our foundation ready so that way we can make sure the proportions look correct. So we're going to go ahead and draw two squares right next to each other. Afterward, we're going to divide the two squares into top and bottom halves. And we're going to add a vertical line dividing the bottom right hand quadrant into halves, as well as that initial left box. Finally, we're going to add one more horizontal line dividing the two bottom quadrants into halves, and this will give us all the guidelines we need to draw out the rest of the sneaker. The next step is to go ahead and work on the silhouette, and make sure you look at where I place my lines in relation to where we put the guidelines down. Now we're going to start working on the outsole / midsole section, and especially for this part of the sneaker, go ahead and use that last horizontal line we made as your guide. And those vertical lines will help you with placement as well. Notice how that midsole goes above that horizontal line towards the heel. Now we're going to go ahead and start working on the upper, and especially for the upper, you really want to focus on looking at that original horizontal line we made. Now we're going to add that triangular flap on the side. Notice how the inside triangle's left vertex hits the crosshairs on that initial left box. Now we're going to add those panels where the eyelets will come through. And then we're going to add a little more detail towards the sock liner and the tongue. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to place down some laces. Then we're going to go ahead and add that side panel on the upper. And that's pretty much it. Like, if you look at your drawing right now, you're pretty much done. The Air Jordan 4 is already on the piece of paper. From this point on, I'm going to go ahead and start inking in all the lines. And then once the inking phase is done, I'm going to go ahead and add the coloring. Now, there's really nothing interesting happening in the world of basketball, which is good because I kind of want to spend this time to talk about the process of drawing, how I kind of do these drawings and all that stuff. And real quick, I just want to let you guys know, of course, this stencil is available over on my website, KicksArt.com. There will be a link in the description, so go ahead and check them out. Now, you're going to notice for the inking phase, I chose to go with the micron marker as opposed to the Sharpie. Honestly, you can pick either one, they both work pretty well. I do prefer the micron markers because A, I feel like they just apply a lot smoother, and B, there's a lot of different varying sizes with the microns. The ultrafine Sharpie markers only come in one size, whereas with the micron markers, there's like 4, 5, or 6 different sizes available. Depending on the shoe drawing and depending on how much time I have, I'll probably go with like a fatter size with the basic outlining, and for the detail like the stitching and stuff, I'll go ahead and I'll get a thinner size so that way it's not as bold. I get these over at Michael's, although I'm sure your local art store will have these available. In Michael's, these aren't by like the Sharpies or anything. At least in my local Michael's, I found these over by the scrapbooking section, but I'm sure if you go and ask an associate, hopefully they can help you out. Obviously, these are going to be a little bit more expensive than your ultrafine Sharpie markers, but listen, if money is a problem, it's okay to get the ultrafine Sharpies, don't worry about it. Up until a year or two ago, I was only exclusively using the ultrafine Sharpies. Those things work just fine, and they're pretty cheap, at least relatively. Those you can pretty much find anywhere. Walmart is a good example where you could find them. Now, because I'm recording a video when I do these drawings, I can't exactly give too much attention to detail when it comes to the line work. There's two reasons for that. One, it would take forever if I had to really make sure the lines were really crisp. Two, it is very hard to get precise line work on a lot of these horizontal lines when I can't move the paper. I say I can't move the paper because in order to film the videos without the paper moving, I have to tape the paper down so I can't move them. Sure, I could move my body around, but that's not really too comfortable, and the results are pretty good just the way they are. Again, whenever you're doing arts or anything of the sort, you have to factor in how much time is it going to take to do whatever detail you need, and is it even worth it? You're going to see by the end of it, the small detail changes that would have been made if I would have just made sure I put a lot more time into the line work are really incremental. Especially since I'm doing the bread colorway, there's a lot of darks and grays involved where the line work is almost irrelevant. Now sure, it's needed for me to actually make the silhouette of the shoe, but in terms of me executing on the colorway that I have planned at the end, it's really not that important. Always you should be factoring how much time is this thing gonna take me, and is that thing ultimately worth it? Time is the most valuable asset you will ever have in your life, so make sure you use it wisely. And a quick point on the coloring of this, what I like about doing the coloring, and this to me is probably one of the more interesting parts of the videos, I like placing that basic one layer of color down in all the sections, so that way you can kind of see what it's gonna look like, but then when I go through and I blend out all the sections, to me it looks completely different, and it's so satisfying to see. Part of the reason why I love drawing is because even though this piece of paper was blank when it started, I saw the Air Jordan 4 in it, it. It was there. It is my job as an artist to bring it out of that sheet of paper, if that makes any sense. You can go through this video step by step, do everything that I'm doing, and your drawing can look a little bit off compared to mine. You might be thinking, wow, this tutorial really wasn't that much help. And if that's honestly the case, well then you guys gotta let me know, because then maybe I should be doing something different. But I guarantee you, if you continue to practice, if you continue to work on these hand skills every single day, naturally you can do this whole process without making those initial guidelines. Almost all the shoes that I do have the basic guidelines where it's 2 squares and then we add those guidelines, dividing up those squares into halves and all that other good stuff. With enough practice, you can get so good with drawing that that initial stage will be embedded in your mind, where you can see those guidelines without having to put them down on the paper. That's practice. That's all it is. And even then, even if that's something where you're not there yet, like you have a few more months or years or however long it takes for you to get there, you can just erase the guidelines and it still comes out just as good. I normally don't erase the guidelines because I know I'm going to go over them anyway, but I wanted to erase the guidelines for this just so you guys, like, this still looks pretty good. It doesn't matter how you get to the end result as long as you get to the end result. Kind of like how nobody cares where you go to college, only thing people care about is where you graduated from college. Like, you can go to community college for 4 years and then the final quarter or the final semester you can transfer over to a university, get the diploma from the university, and then bam, you graduated from that university. Find whatever way works for you, find whatever motivates you, and go ahead and do that. Art should be fun, art should be free. That's why I upload the stencils and I have on my website, because if you're not the kind of person that likes to draw but you love to color, then go ahead, color all that you want. Both the channel and the website are resources that I would have wanted to see back if I was in high school. And that's also why I do it for free, because I don't want you guys to have to pay for these stencils. And then if there's a stencil that you want that you can't find, I don't want you to think, oh, well, I guess I'll never have that stencil. Like, no, you can go ahead and ask me for it. Go ahead and send me a request on the website and I'll get it to you sometime soon. It's already expensive enough buying the paper, buying all these markers or whatever you got, and I know a lot of you guys are not like working adults yet, so money's tight. Trust me, I know, I get it. In all seriousness though, if you guys think that these tutorials are really helpful, let me know down in the comment section below. If there's something that you want to see added to these how to draw videos, be sure to let me know that as well. I can only make these videos from my point of view because it's not like there's anybody telling me how I should do these videos. So if there's a way I can improve, then by all means, I'm eager to know. But that's gonna do it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and bounce past that bell to get post notifications. Don't forget to check out KicksArt.com for all your sneaker stencil needs, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeet!